Hey guys, we're starting a new lesson today. We are going to be working on 16-2. So please make sure that you have a notebook ready to go over this lesson with me. And if you want to follow along in your workbooks, that's fine too, because we are going to be going over one of the problems from your workbook in a little bit. Okay, so in this lesson, you're going to be seeing some tables, and that information can be called data. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting those data points into ordered pairs and graphing them on a coordinate grid. Okay, so we're going to do a few examples of that, and then we're also going to be able to complete a data table when the terms, all the points are not in there based on a pattern that's given, and also be able to graph. I'm noticing that some of your homework from yesterday was kind of shifted if you did it on the PDF from Google Classroom. So I'm going to ask if you can please do your homework for topic 16 in your actual workbook and just upload pictures, just so that I can make sure that you're understanding the lesson, because when it shifts, it kind of looks like the problem is wrong, and I just want to make sure that you're understanding how to do it. So from now on, please make sure to submit your homework on your workbook, your actual workbook for topic 16, okay? All right, so let's get started. This is what you're going to see. You're going to see a table, something like this, okay? Maybe it's going to be like in this direction too, instead of like sideways or horizontal, it's going to be vertical. But what you're going to be able to do is, let me erase this really quick. You're going to use these points as ordered pairs and then graph them onto the coordinate grid. So remember that I mentioned the first terms are always going to be x. Okay, so x always goes first. Then y is that second term, and we put them into parentheses. So when you have a data table, these are going to be your ordered pair terms. So notice here that we're looking at days and then the relationship they have with height. So this is an example of maybe a data table of a plant that's growing over these numbers of days, and this is how tall the plant is growing, okay? So we're going to use the days as x, and we're going to use the height as y. So this will be one, this will be another one, this is another one, and then this is the last term. So for example, the first set is going to be 1, 2. So your x is 1 and your y is 2. Then the next one is 2 and 4, 5 and 10, and then 7 and 14. So once you have your ordered pairs, the next thing you need to do is graph. So here, you're going to look for when x is 1. We're going to start with this ordered pair. So remember your x is here. When x is 1, y, which is on this side, okay, y is 2. So where the 2 points meet would be that point. Okay, so you can do 1, 2, or you can just graph. In this one, it doesn't really ask for you to label the point. It just wants it to be graphed onto the coordinate grid. Okay, so then, I don't know why I changed the color. Oh, I guess it didn't. Okay, so here we have our first point. Okay, let's do the second one. So the second one is x is 2, y is 4. So when x is 2, y is 4, and those points are going to meet here. Okay, then we have when x is 5, y is 10, and those points, if you follow along, are going to meet here. And then the last one, when x is 7, y is 14, over here, and those points will meet here. Okay, and when you have a table, so data points in a table, and you're graphing those data points, this is what you're supposed to do to finish your graph. So you have to connect them all. Okay, and then these arrows shows that the relationship continues because the plant is going to keep growing. So what that means is that this relationship is going to continue on day 8, on day 9, on day 10, all the way over, and then the plant is going to grow this number of centimeters. Okay, so this would be your answer, graphing your points onto the coordinate grid. Let's go over this one. Okay, so like I mentioned, you might see your data graph vertically. So here we're looking at the relationship between time and distance, and the H just means hours, that means miles. Let's do a different color. So here we're going to use the first set of terms as x and this set of terms as y. So this would be your first one. Here would be 1, 2. This one would be 2, 4, and the last one 3, 6. So on our map, our coordinate grid, we are going to look for x as 1. So remember, your x is here, x as 1 here, and then your y is going to be 2. And where these 2 points meet is right here. Then the next one is 2 and 4. They meet here. 3 and 6. They meet here. And then remember, you have to connect them and draw arrows to show that the relationship will continue. In your workbook, you're also going to see the opposite. So you're going to have the graph already done for you on the coordinate grid, and you have to fill in the coordinate points. So you have to say what is x when it's y, what is x, what is y, x and y at these points. So 1, 2, and 3 points here. So this first one, if you notice here, it lands on 1 for x. So you're going to fill in the data point. Let's use a different color. We're going to use 1 for the first set of data points. So when x is 1, y is 5, and that's where the 2 points meet. So when you have your ordered pair, it looks like this. Okay, so this point is 1 and 5, and this is going to be your answer. Then you're going to look at the next point, which is here. So when x is 2, y is 10. And you just fill in the table like that. For the last one, when x is 3, y is 15. And then that would be your answer. So this table being filled in is the answer for this question. Okay, because you already have your coordinates graphed onto the grid, you just want to know what the coordinates are. So it's kind of like the assignment from yesterday. It's just that now it looks different because it's on a table and there's more than one point that you're looking for. Okay, and then this is the one that's from your workbook. So this is number 3 on practice. Okay, and here what it's asking you is it's going to give you a scenario. It's going to give you a relationship. So, for example, this one says, Janice is 7 years older than Tam. Complete the table and then you're going to graph. So here we have points for Tam and we have points for Janice. And it says that Janice is 7 years older. So this shows when Tam is 2, Janice is 9. And we know that because if Janice is 7 years older and Tam is 2, if you add 7 years, it gives you 9. So for number 4, when Tam is 4, how old is Janice going to be? So you would just add 7 years, which would be 11. Then when Tam is 6, she's going to be 13. And when Tam is 8, Janice will be 15. Okay, so there's 2 parts to this question. Completing the table, which we just did here, and then you have to graph. So there's 2 parts, okay? So you have to make sure to do this part, but also use these points and graph them on here. So when x is 2, notice that it's already given for you. When x is 2, y is 9. So you have to look for x here at 2, and then at 9 for y, and where the 2 points meet, that's going to be your first point. Then 4 and 11 is going to be here. 6 and 13 is going to be here. And then the last one, 8 and 15, would be here. Remember to connect all the dots together so it makes one line, and then the arrows. There might be some graphs that are not a perfect line like this. If they're kind of like wonky and they look like something like this, you just have to make sure to make the lines as connected as possible. Okay, something like this. Alrighty, so that's basically it. You're just using those points similar to 16-1. Now they're just in table form, but it's the same process. You're looking for x and y. We already know that x goes first, y goes second. This is your x-axis, your y-axis. Wherever those 2 points meet is where you're going to put your dot. Okay, and then the only difference now is that when you graph, you just have to connect all the points together with a line. If you have any questions, please let me know. I can Zoom with you. And then remember, you have to do your homework in your workbook. So I'm not going to upload the PDFs for you just so that you don't run into those problems of it shifting your answers over. And then just take pictures of your workbook page and upload those to Google Classroom. And then I'll go over your graphs and then just make sure you're understanding. Okay? I'll talk to you soon. Bye.